So today's topic, the single most effective pharmaceutical medication that I have found helpful in the treatment of CFS, multiple chemical sensitivities, electrical hypersensitivity, sensory overload, all of that crazy neuropathic stuff. Also supports with sleep, reduction of stress, anxiety, all of that stuff. So it's a really good sort of like covers lots of bases medication, in my humble opinion. But not only my opinion, there was I think he may have passed away, don't quote me on that, but anyway, Dr. Paul Cheney did a lot of work for people suffering from these conditions, and I'm going to put a link to an article below, so read that after you hear what I have to say. Okay, so the single medication that I have found most helpful in my recovery journey has been clonazepam, clonazapam, sometimes known in the States, the United States of America, as Klonpin with a K, Klonpin. In Australia, you might have heard of a brand name called Rivotril, or you might look it up that way. Rivotril is often used in the treatment of epilepsy. Anyways, this particular medication's helped me tremendously to get back some quality of life when I was so sensitive that you literally couldn't live or have any joy, quality of life. Like, I'm just talking about just being able to feel sort of like not suicidal because you're that sick. So you don't necessarily have to be that unwell to potentially gain the benefits. And I encourage you to do it. I'm not prescribing this, I'm just telling you from my story, but might be worth looking into if you're super sensitive to sound, light, movement, all sorts of things, sensory overload. If you find that you have to wear a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses to go into a small meeting with people, or in your bedroom, or to go shopping, things like that. If you find it all just, you're really easily getting to overwhelm, and then that puts you into a crash, and then you're relapsing all the time, and or you just simply can't get any peace because your nerves are always basically on fire, or you've got ants crawling, all that kind of stuff. So you'll know what I mean. But anyway, go to the article below. It's on a ProHealth website, and it's excerpts from I think a lecture or something by Dr. Paul Cheney on Klonpin or clonazepam. Okay, this is the only medication that I still take, and I'll take it until I get strong enough to gradually wean off it. I've tried to come off it too early. Turned out the brain injury was still there. Brain injury? She says she's got a brain injury. She's delusional. Oh, I know that some people are thinking that, or have thought that in the past. But anyway, look into it more. You'll probably realise that, there's more to CFS or ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, than meets the eye. Good thing about this drug is that it can bring your brain back into a state of more of a healing, resting state. So Dr. Cheney describes it as, our brain is on this sort of there's this span, and at one end you're sort of in coma state, and at the other end you're in seizure, right? And oftentimes in CFS, you're kind of up towards seizure. And many people with CFS do have seizures, but not all the time, and they're not the same, intensity as epilepsy. Nevertheless, you're still kind of up in that end of the spectrum, and you're way outside of this resting, healing state. So what clonazepam can help you do is help your neurotransmitters stop overfiring. I think it's called excitatory neurotoxicity. And it just is this perpetuating thing that's going on and causing a lot of cell death and stuff in your brain and overfiring of neurons. And it's exceedingly debilitating and distressing. So yeah, when I found out about this and did my research, and many doctors wouldn't prescribe it because, it's a drug of addiction, you got to watch those things and stuff like that. And fair enough, if you don't know what you're doing, and, you shouldn't just go handing out drugs willy-nilly. But if you find a doctor that will work with you and help to understand the condition, the reason why you're making the request, and you back it up with documentation, you may well find a doctor that will cooperate and trial it with you. So then it helped me to get sleeping better, because I was actually having restorative sleep, like I was healing a bit during my sleep, or I was actually sleeping, which is a good start, if you want to start feeling better. So then, sleep starts to come back. You're not as nervous, anxious, because you haven't got all of this crazy stuff going on. And, lo and behold, I could start sort of branching out and doing things that I enjoyed again and living a life. So around about that point, I got back out into the community and developed a community garden with a good friend, another friend with CFS. We had a good understanding of each other, and we also both really, really loved community building, community development, permaculture, organic gardening in general. And yeah, we were like really instrumental in the foundation of a community garden in the suburb that we were living in. And that's still thriving today. I think it's nearly 9 years later. So, happy days, not to brag, but we're pretty proud of it. And just to show you, sometimes just one simple key thing can make a massive difference. That came in at around about the 6 or 7 or whatever year mark for me. But God, just to think, like if that had come in at the 3-month mark or the 6-month mark or the 1 year mark, do you know what I mean? Not to say that I didn't need to go through all of that for my personal growth and my journey and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't think people really deserve to suffer. And I certainly don't think that we should be living in a lifeless state. So anything that can help you, if it's key, if you think this sounds like, it could be helpful for you, I encourage you to read the link below, do whatever research you need to do, talk to your GP, or find a GP that really cares and that is willing to look into it and give it a trial. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you agree might be good for you. But if you want to continue to do it, advocate for yourself, find a doctor that will support you on your recovery journey, because recovery is possible. I'm living proof. I know plenty of people that have recovered. If you still don't believe that recovery is possible, at least improvement, right? Jump on board Dan Newfer's site called CFS Unraveled and start listening to his interviews with all manner of people who have recovered their lives from debilitating CFS, and let that build your faith in recovery, okay? I know it's hard to believe when you're like that sick and you don't even know anyone that's got it, you don't know anyone that's recovered, and people are telling you, oh, you can't recover, it's incurable. Do you know? It might not be curable, but anything's possible. And you can certainly improve, and improvement on improvement equals, find out for yourself. So jump on the link below, have a look. Clonazepam has been very helpful for me. If I'd found it earlier, I probably wouldn't have spent as much money on other supplements and other prescription drugs that were, possibly, like misdiagnoses and stuff along the way, and things that were prescribed that weren't necessarily helpful, never really did me much good, but then were very hard to come off. Okay, that's my tip for now. I wish you well. I truly do. I really hope you conquer this thing. I believe you can. Bye.